Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Long time no see. I thought today I would sit down and film a get ready with me, kind of chatty, just talking about some of the new products I've tried and some things that are going on in my life. If you don't like chatty videos and kind of like blah blah blah, you're not gonna like this, so I'll just see you in my next video. I do have my mirror right here so I can look straight, so I'm not like staring off to the side or anything, so you can see the little top of that. I hope it's not distracting. I feel like this is part of like the YouTuber starter pack to have like a candle randomly burning in the background. But Origin sent me this candle and I love the smell of Christmas trees, firs or spruces. This candle is pine, spruce, and orange, and it is one of the best candles I have ever smelt. It smells really nice, and it's actually in a recycled wine bottle, which I think is pretty cool. But I'm not gonna leave this behind me. I want it in front of me so I can enjoy the scent. I'm going to do these the same way I always do. I'm going to leave what I'm using in the bottom of the screen here because I find as I chat, if I keep going back and forth and explaining what I do, I lose track of what I'm saying and I end up in all different weird places. So I did my full regular skincare routine. I didn't wear makeup earlier today because I was working from home. So now I'm just gonna kind of talk about what I used earlier. Well, just a few products I've been using that are new that I thought I would mention is I've been using this SK2 essence. A bunch of you guys have been asking me my thoughts on this and I had never tried it. A company called YesStyle.com, which basically does a bunch of like Korean and Japanese skincare, asked me if they could send me some items to try, and I was like, yeah, awesome. So this is something that's from them. I don't have an opinion on it yet because I just started using it literally like a week ago. So far it's nice. I don't know if it's going to justify the price tag, but I will keep you updated. You guys know I don't like eye creams, but Sunday Riley sent me this about a week before it launched, and I figured, let me try it. I have been using it. It moisturizes my eyes nicely, but I don't really get puffiness. I have dark circles though, and that's nothing a cream is gonna fix for me because it's not because it's dry under my eyes. It's because I've lost the volume here as I've aged. And I do under eye filler about once a year. It might have been a little longer now. I don't know. I've got to look. I'm coming due for it. But yeah, you can just see like those hollows in my eye. I will say that I sometimes get this little line, like a crease right there that's very normal. And I would say that it's less prominent. But other than that, I will keep you updated. The price for this isn't astronomical compared to so many eye creams. I believe this is $60 for a half ounce, which is still expensive given that I normally use my regular moisturizer all over my face. I can do like a full review on any of these products if you guys want. Otherwise, I'm kind of backed up with reviews. And then I ran out of my Drunk Elephant C Firmus serum, and I did buy a new one on the sale, but I do have this Sunday Riley CEO Rapid Flash Brightening Serum that I wanted to finish while I have it, because it just seems wasteful not to. This is a derivative. I don't know how effective this is going to be at stimulating collagen like LAA is, but this is nice on the top of the skin, and it does, so it moisturizes and it will brighten, but I don't think this is going to stimulate collagen. So because of the price too, I would always just get the Drunk Elephant C Firma because I love that, but I'm going to use this up. And otherwise, everything else has been my normal skincare routine in the morning. The last thing that I'm trying that's new right now, like my prep routine, is Dermalogica sent me a few products to test. This is their Hydra Blur Primer. I'm not really big on primers anymore. I used to use like 50 of them. Now I just really use one to fill in my piercing scars once I got my skincare routine where I wanted. I have noticed though that as the weather has been changing, some of the foundations I'm wearing that I typically wear, and even some new ones, I'm finding I'm kind of looking a little shinier than I prefer. Like I like to be luminous, but right around this area. So I thought I would start testing this. I've used this about 4 days and I do like the results. I don't notice that it makes my makeup last any longer, but I am noticing that it's helping keep this area luminous with the foundation and not kind of like weird oily looking. Now I'm going to put on, this is the Laneige lip mask, the sleeping lip mask. A bunch of you guys told me to try this, that I would really like this, and the YesStyle, this is one of the products that they sent me to test too, and I do really like it. I put it on with a lip brush because you guys know the Dragon Lady nails. I do not like dipping them in products. When I get stuff stuck on under my nails, it makes me freak out. I had like a super overreaction when I was doing the dishes one day and I was clearing off the table and I like stuck my nail into sour cream or mashed potatoes or something mushy like that when I went to pick up the table plates. I was like, ugh, ugh. Needless to say, I don't change babies' diapers because of that reason. So I've been using these eyebrow stencils by ABH. I have to say ABH because if I say Anastasia Beverly Hills, people rip me a new butthole because they try to say, that's not how you say her name. It's so weird to me because that, to me, like since we have the name Anastasia in the US and that's typically how it's pronounced, that would be like me yelling at a French person because they say Stephanie with an accent. Me saying, that's not how you say it. You're disrespectful. It's like, whoa, that seems so odd to me. I don't know. Anywho, I'm going to use this ABH, the Full Arch Stencil. So my eyebrows are microbladed on, but I do like them to be a little fuller and it extends the tail a little longer as well. I don't go super full when I get my eyebrows put on because this is what I look like with no makeup. If they were like tattooed on and bigger, it just looks odd to me on my face just because you can see it looks like I have perfectly groomed eyebrows with no makeup on my face and it's just kind of weird. So that's just my preference. So I'm going to show you how I do this. I just kind of hold it on. I lightly go over with a brow pencil and then I go in and fill them in with some powders and pomades. This is in taupe. First, it's also a good measure to see like where your eyebrow would come in. And for me, my eyebrows from over tweezing in the 90s, my eyebrows should start like, see how this one starts right here? This one should start really right here, but I took away too many hairs. And right now I have like 5 hairs. I haven't been touching them. So I'm like, please grow back. I'm gonna make sure that this stencil starts where it should so the tail doesn't extend super far back, if that makes any sense. For this, I'm going to move my mirror a little closer. So tonight, what I'm getting ready for is Keegan. He has an online publication called rockstardreams.com, and Keegan's my boyfriend if you haven't heard his name before. And he is putting on the San Francisco Music Conference that is going on this Saturday. It's actually down at the Fort Mason fire station, the old one, which is pretty cool. It's a really cool backdrop and a really unique space. December 16th, and he is going to have conference and panels in the morning from 11 to 6. And then from 7 to 11, there's going to be an artist showcase where some bands are coming. It's a mixture of music between like rock and hip hop and electronic hip hop, or a whole nice mix of all of that. See, we just got the shape now. It looks a little more polished. Again, I have to go in and I don't know why I just put that away. I'm going to go help him tonight with some of the setup stuff and meeting some people. So if any of you guys are in the Bay Area and you like, well, if you're a musician or you're interested in learning like from A&Rs and licensing and all of that information about the music business and all of that, I will have a link below if you guys are interested. You can buy tickets to attend on Eventbrite. It's $40 for the showcase and for the showcase afterwards. Or if you guys just want to show up and hear some music, that's at 7 o'clock, and the tickets for that are $10. And he's going to have like food trucks and some street art and all of these things. So we have to go set that stuff up. And I will be there as a dutiful girlfriend, helping where I can. So if any of you guys go to that, come say hi to me. These stencils make me feel like I'm cheating on a test, but I love it. See? You can see like it fills out some of those spots, and then I can go through with the powder and really fill it in, and it works really well for me. So I was back in Arizona for a week. I'm originally from Massachusetts. Well, I'm originally from Las Vegas. That's where I was born anyway. And but grew up the majority of my life in Massachusetts in different spots, from New Bedford to Fairhaven to Northbridge, Shrewsbury, all of those areas. But after college, I moved to Arizona, and I lived in Arizona for 9 years before I took a new position that moved me up to San Francisco. Now I'm just going to take the Viseart Brow Palette. I had never used this until last weekend or the weekend before. I was helping Viseart shoot some videos for their education for staff of like Sephora and stuff. I wasn't in the videos. I was just helping them with the filming and editing. And I saw their makeup artist, Erin, use this in action. And I was like, oh my God, I need to try that. So these are all powders, and then these are pomades. They're called, or like waxes. So this row is kind of like warm. This one is like redheads, and then this one is cool. I'm just gonna pick up a little of this, the lighter color, because I do prefer my eyebrows to be a little more ashy. And they definitely seem to go on for me a little darker than they originally even look in the pan, because I always think like, oh, that's not gonna be dark enough. And it is. I'm going to star everything that I link in the description of what was sent to me, because otherwise I could possibly be like, this was sent to me, this was sent to me, and that will be annoying. Ripley always tells me like, girl, just put a disclaimer below. You're annoying with that. I'm like, I have to say it verbally too, because not everybody reads that, and I don't want to seem like I'm being sneaky. So, Ripley. I'm just kidding. I know it does sound annoying when I'm editing it. I want to punch myself. So while I was in Arizona, I went to go to HTC, which is a piercing shop in Arizona. It's my favorite one. I love the staff there. They're like pretty awesome at what they do. And I had a nostril nail in my nose here, which is basically, it looks like a C with a flat back, so it was easy to push in and out. But they're also, especially because my nose angles up, they're also easy to come out. Like one night I was kind of tossing and turning, and I have no idea where it went. So I went there to get a new one, and they had some reattach in stock, which I find a lot of places tend to order it in, but they very rarely keep any in stock. And I'm a sucker for reattach. These 3 pieces I have up here are all reattach. This 4th one is as well. And I have my septum pierced. I always keep it tucked up in my nose. It's like a dark black retainer that I keep flipped up in there, so you can't really see the metal up there. But they had a clicker in there for the septum by reattach. It's kind of like the mini Moody from BVLA, where it has like those 3 rings through it. And so I really wanted to try a different piece of jewelry in there. And so he put it in for me. And I was really shocked at first because I wasn't used to seeing myself in it. And I thought, okay, maybe I just need a little time to get used to seeing myself in it. So I wore it for like the rest of the week I was in Arizona, and I did not like it on myself. It was something I just couldn't get used to. And I think, you know, the only time I've ever worn it out, the whole time I've ever had it, I don't think I explained. I'm going in with this second color right here, this darker one now to fill in like the tails. So the only time I've ever worn it out, I had this little small, like 5/16, just plain hoop in there. I posted a picture on Instagram when I did that, and I didn't like that either. That was easy for me to take out. But when he put the clicker in, I was thinking, oh, if I don't like it, I can just take it out and put my retainer back in. And he did say, nah, it's not always that easy to get some of those open. And I was thinking, I should be able to do it. Lo and behold, no, I, for the life of me, could not. I tried the bobby pin trick. I tried all of these different things. I mean, my nails don't help the situation, but such a tight fit, I just couldn't get it off. So I had to wait until we came home here in the city, and my favorite piercing shop in the city is Rose Gold. It's on Masonic and Haight Street. They always have the best jewelry in there, and Melissa, the staff on the counter, is amazing, and Perry, who does the piercings, is awesome. There was another piercing artist, though, took the clicker out for me, and I put my retainer back in, and I got a new hoop, and then I picked up these pieces. These are both by BVLA. So this one right here is even with my nostril piercing, and then this is considered like a high nostril. I don't know why I'm back up on my piercing kick again. I go in phases. I don't know. And again, guys, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I would appreciate it if you don't like it. You don't need to tell me. I know you feel compelled sometimes, but you don't need to tell me. If you're not my parent and I'm not sleeping with you, it kind of makes your negative opinion on my appearance moot. I love it. I've said that before, and someone's like, you know what? I do hate it, but it's your face, not mine. I'm like, What? How'd that happen? How'd that happen? I think it's like, oh, exactly what I asked for you to keep to yourself, you're sharing. Thank you so much. It doesn't arch up as high as it should, where that's mostly like the tattoo. So I just normally like to go through now with a little bit of the pomade. So if I need to put any up in the beginning of the brows, I'll use this one. And if it's just to fill in like a few brush stroke like hairs, I'll use this bottom one. And guys, I found this brush, and I swear, oh no. This is by Lancome. It's kind of like a little diamond, like triangle, I guess, but it's really rigid. It feels like really stiff nylon bristles, which I wasn't sure how I'd like it, but really brush stroke like hair. It works really well with pomades. I wouldn't use this with powders because it is kind of so firm. It's not really comfortable on your hand, but I actually love this for pomades. I don't think I could ever live without it. So see, I'm just gonna touch over in a few areas like that and comb that in. I like that. I think it looks good. I'm sure someone will tell me it doesn't, but sometimes I feel like the internet has forgotten their manners, or maybe they were never taught any. I don't know. Be different, I guess, if I was selling these as like the best eyebrows ever. Everyone has to do this or they look ugly. They were like, no, actually, I hate your eyebrows. I would understand that, but anything else, sometimes I just don't understand people. I guess I'm kind of happy I can't shove my head that far up my butt to understand them. Be happy, right? That's a blessing. Hashtag blessed. Invisalign update. I am on tray 17 of 19, which this has really flown by. I can't believe it's gone that fast. My teeth are super on track. I mean, they're right where they're supposed to be. I was tracking the entire time I was on it because I don't mess around with this stuff. When I pay to do something and they tell me this is how you're supposed to do it, I'm going to do it. Because what is the point of paying for something and going through the headache if you're just going to draw it out and make it a nightmare or not do what they're going to say? So I wore them for probably 23 hours a day. I only took them out to eat and snack, which I thought it would be a deterrent to stop me from snacking, but lo and behold, it was not. I now just inhale the food faster, brush, floss, rinse, put them back in. It's amazing what I'll do for snacks. So I had an appointment a couple days ago. So on this visit, when I went in, he told me these last 3 trays are really like refinement trays, and they're basically just like tightening up everything to make sure that when you floss, it's like a little difficult to get the floss up there. If you guys see, I feel like a bulldog when I do this. So that space I had down here is completely closed now, and he wanted to see me in another 10 days, so it's about 7 now. I'll go back in, and if he's happy with everything, I won't even need to do my last 2 trays. We'll take the molds from my retainer. I'll get a permanent retainer on the bottom here, and then work on a couple other things I need fixed. Like I had a retreat and a root canal, and I need to redo the crown on that one since it was like a little microscopic one, and I have to get that one redone. And believe me, I've gotten like 4 opinions just to make sure I wasn't being scammed. But and then I've checked with family, friends, dentists, and they've said the same thing based on my x-rays and what it looks like that I did need to redo it. Anyway, by the time I'm done with this, it'll be like a Toyota Corolla in my mouth, price-wise, so I'm doing exactly what they say. I'm really excited about it. I'm thrilled with my results. If you guys want a video on my experience, I can do one kind of like with before and after pictures and just some of the tricks, because my dentist was joking around. He's like, you have the cleanest trays I've ever seen, and if I didn't know better because your teeth are moving, I would think that you weren't wearing them. But I put them in a little jewelry ultrasonic cleaner with a tab of that retainer bright that some of you guys told me about, and it literally, I never brush them. I don't brush them at all. Every morning I take them out while I'm having my coffee and I put them in that soak with warm water, like just get some hot water from the sink, and I set it for 5 minutes and I just let it like vibrate all the stuff out, and they come out crystal clear. So I just don't like scrubbing stuff in my nails. I'm weird with that, but it's worked really well. I think sometimes the brushing kind of like scratches up the plastic a little bit and then they can look dirty. I finally got my last big stone for my ring stack that Sam, that jeweler local in San Francisco, has been working on for me. That first month, I've talked about it on Instagram, but the first month I did blue sapphire and these little tiny emerald that's set upside down, so it's like a little pyramid. The next month I did this chrome tourmaline, and then I waited 3 more months later because originally I was going to do a yellow sapphire because that's like the color mix and the shapes I wanted. I wanted like a marquee, but I really, really wanted the yellow diamond because it's a little more sparkly, and so it's just something that I decided, I might as well get what I want, and so I just saved up for 3 months so I could have exactly what I wanted. And now I think just because of the way that they lay, I have an old like circle, like a Roberto coin, Yeah, it's like diamond, and I don't know what the heck else it is, but I never wear it because I don't wear white gold. So I'm going to have that necklace turned into just like a little diamond band to help space in between some of this, and then that will be completely done, and I love them. All right, now let's go into the foundation steps. So I picked up, this is the La Mer Soft Fluid Longwear Foundation. I was going to get this during the Sephora VIB sale, but they were actually all sold out. I was between two colors, actually. I was between either thinking I was going to be neutral 22 or the natural shade, because all the other ones in between had like different undertones. And I hate buying foundations online because I never know what color I'm going to be, and it looks like 50 shades of beige with all those circles, and unless it's like very clear explanation, like light medium with neutral undertones, and even then everyone's light medium could be different. So I picked this up actually when I went into Arizona. I went to the Nordstrom counter there in Chandler when I was staying with my friend, and I had the La Mer associate color match me. I do like the coverage on this foundation. It looks really beautiful on the skin, but this smells terrible. I've had some people say that they love this smell. To me, this smells like a drunk old person. Like, it smells like a drunk old person was in a funeral parlor and took a head dive into a casket. Like, I do not like this scent at all. It does dissipate, but the way I know that I was smelling it is I picked up my foundation brush to put something else on. I'm like, every time I was moving it around my face, I was like, what the hell is that smell? I'm like, oh my God, it's on here still. But I do like the coverage. I probably could afford to get like a shade lighter and kind of mix the two, but the neutral one or the natural one is actually super pink. I don't know why, but this neutral is a touch too dark. But this foundation is expensive, so I was only buying one color to see how I like it. If I absolutely loved it, then I'd get another shade to mix. I use about 1.5 pumps of this, so I'm going to put 1.5 pumps on my palette. And the way I like to use this best is to paint it on and then blend it out with my beauty blender. The sales associate did tell me to get the powder brush and that he likes putting it on with a fluffy brush, which I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I did ask him, why don't you use the pointy foundation brush they have? And he said actually one of their head artists, he uses the powder brush, so that's what he likes to use as well. I did find it a little odd. I asked him, oh, what's the brush made of? Like synthetic or natural hair? And he looked at me and he was like, honestly, I have no idea. I'm sure it's because it's the holidays and they have more staff working that might not be thoroughly trained on everything in there. But I just feel like for La Mer's price point, I mean, people should know their products inside and out when you're spending that much money. Again, and I know it's the holidays, not everyone can know everything, but all it took was for me to read the box to see it was synthetic hair. I'm like, okay. And I just wanted to show you guys this because I think this is adorable. This woman sent me this. This is called an Eggy case, and it holds your beauty blender. So they have all different colors and some faces, and you put your beauty blender in here when you travel, and then you can toss it in your makeup bag so it's not picking up like all the crap on the bottom of your makeup bag or kind of all over the place. It does have 2 little holes in the bottom to ventilate it, but I wouldn't put this in soaking wet. So if you wanted to leave it like this to dry, like on your vanity or something like that, that's cool. But wait till it's almost completely dry if you're traveling to put the lid back on. Good idea. And this, I've been loving these Esom brushes. This is the Esom T45. This is a foundation brush. Muse makes these brushes, and actually Esom is Muse backwards. I learned that. Alphonse designs all of these, but this foundation brush is thick, and it's long enough that it has a give, unlike some of my other ones that are flat, that this one really like helps mold to the face. You can turn it sideways. I don't know, I love it. I'm going to do a video with Alphonse. We were going to do it this past week, but he came down with the flu, so we have to reschedule. So let's talk about where I've been. I've been MIA for quite some time. I actually just had to post on Instagram because I started getting some emails to my YouTube email. And then I had Ronnie call me and Ripley. They're like, are you dead? I'm like, no, I've just been really busy. The holidays, it's always this weird time of year where you can get really busy trying to make like end of year numbers and things, or, you know, all your forecasts and everything you're supposed to hit. And then all of a sudden it's like this weird holiday time that you have nothing to do. Like pretty much now I'm going to be free until January. In January, I have the West Coast Buying Conference. It's in Las Vegas for work that I will be going to, or work related, I should say. So I don't know if you can tell. It's kind of like almost gray and it's a touch too dark. I look like Jabba the Hutt. And now I'm going to blend that out. I like to just kind of pick up the excess because too much of this foundation I feel like gets real slick looking. I typically go over my jewelry and then I will come back and use Q-tip to clean it up so it's clean and not all covered in foundation. Make sure I don't get a product buildup in my nose. I feel like my face is too, I feel like when I use this I just get like foundation all over, but I do like to use it to blend in. So one thing I've learned during my time online is to not share too much personal information. You know, the majority of people online are amazing, but there are people out there that have ill intentions and can be very malicious. So it's just a good idea to always keep yourself insulated and as safe as possible. I mean, as much as one can be, you know, making videos and being on so much of our personal life on social media. It's one of the reasons why I'm not constantly on Snapchat and I don't vlog every day. I just value my privacy. So let's talk about what's new in my life regarding work. As much as I was willing to share about my job, I shared in my Get to Know Me video quite some time ago. I started off social media by using my first and middle name here in the hopes to keep my social media presence and my job separate. I also did that so I wasn't approached by any of the brands that I was working with professionally to kind of pressure me into making a video. I felt like it would be a conflict and I never wanted to feel pressure to say that I loved something that I didn't love. In hindsight, it was foolish of me to think that they could remain separate. I guess I never thought that my channel would be where it's at now. Nonetheless, it was foolish of me. At the end of May, an incident arose where my YouTube and my professional career paths had crossed for the third time since I've had my channel up. I gave an unfavorable review to a brand some time ago. Actually, I've given several unfavorable reviews. But a good friend of one particular brand came to work for my company. I'm trying to be careful of what I say, not because I'm afraid that, you know, anything can happen to me. I realize that it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what happened because people are still going to promote that brand. There are a decent amount of people that are aware of what conspired and still promote that brand, and some people that I'm friendly with. And I know that consumers aren't going to stop buying or supporting them. All it's going to do is bring some drama to my life. It's going to give me a headache dealing with trolls. People are going to promote them because money. They earn money doing that, and no one owes me anything. I'm not interested in being in spotlight or gaining from that type of nonsense. Now, we can't always be right publicly, but I am privately. I'm going to use this Kylie Cosmetics. I've been loving my airbrush, my little mini cat jet. I'll do a video on that, but for this, it might be distracting to have the compressor going. So if I do a video on it, I'll do a voiceover while I'm doing it so you guys can see, but that wasn't really good for a chatty video. But I love their products. So I'm going to take this, just like 2 drops on my palette, and then I'm going to take this Zoeva little pointed brush, and I'm going to contour with this. You know, the beauty business landscape has changed drastically in the past few years. It's cool and it's exciting, but it's also changing the way that we used to do business. More and more businesses going online or making a few retailers extraordinarily strong. With buying power comes a lot of demands that those brands can make. They can kind of cherry pick the line and dictate the products that are coming out. And what we're doing is we're putting small mom and pop independent distributors, brick and mortar stores anyway, out of business. They just can't compete with the pricing. When I first took the position with my company, I was only covering Northern California and Reno. Real quickly, I love this Delium Tools brush. This is the 966 dual fiber face shading brush. This is so soft and perfect to blend in cream or liquid contours. And then last October, I believe it was last October, my territory expanded. They let go someone and gave the territory to me. So then all of a sudden I went from covering just Northern California to California, Washington, Oregon, and Alaska. So I went from having 91 accounts and being super busy to all of a sudden 293 accounts. I was already super busy with the original 91 accounts I have, and we were seen as independent contractors of sorts, even though we were linked to a certain group where that's the business that we picked up. Paid all of our own expenses, and we weren't reimbursed for them. So every time that I had to take a trip up to Oregon or Seattle, I had to buy my own plane ticket, rental car, hotel, then eating on the road all the time. I was working 3 times as hard as I had been working, and I feel like the income wasn't justified because the extra money that I was making from that other area, I was also working again 3 times as hard, and my travel expenses had dramatically increased. So it was kind of eating into it. So what I was actually walking away with didn't seem worth it to me. I just wasn't happy this last year with how things were going. Now I'm going to take this brush. This is the Delium 977 face sculpting brush, and I really like this to blend. It's nice and soft, just making sure I don't have any harsh lines. It's never been an aspiration of mine to work for someone forever. Eventually, I did want to start my own consulting business. This new person coming to work with me when they did, and the subsequent incident that followed because they now knew who I was, forced my hand sooner than expected. From that incident, I was asked by my company to remove a video as an act of professional courtesy. I completely understand where they are coming from, and I'm not someone that thinks like I'm alone in my principles, but given how I was feeling the past year and also the fact that nothing I said was false, I was quite frankly pissed at the way that the situation happened. So I was on my way back from Bali when I had actually read the initial email, and it was a 24-and-a-half-hour flight. So I just sat there and kind of like stewed on it for a while. And then on that Friday, I had a conference call with the owner of my company and the VP, and I tendered my resignation. They did ask me to stay, and they asked me to take the long weekend to, kind of think about it. And I had already been thinking about it, though, like I hadn't been happy, and I had that whole, literally more than an entire day to just play out all these scenarios in my head and thinking, and if then this. I spoke to my mother for her guidance, as she's been in the beauty industry, 30 plus years, 32 years. The fact of the matter is I just outgrew the company I was with, and it was the kick in the ass I needed to make an immediate change. I stayed on for 3 weeks to smoothly transition my replacement and to make sure that my accounts were taken care of. I am on good terms with them. I wish them all the best. I was happy to work with them for as long as I did, and I just know what I bring to the table. I know with my experience and my ability, so I wasn't afraid to leave. The great news is I have started my own consulting business. I've been doing that since mid-June, actually. Basically doing the same thing that I was doing previously. Just now I can select the projects and the brands that I want to work with. Previously, it was, here are the lines that we've taken on, this is what they need, this is what you have to do. And now, again, I can work with whoever I want, whenever I want. That's also why I've been so busy. Previously, I had office staff support, and now it's just me. We plan on hiring some staff when the time is right, but right now I'm kind of like a one-man show, so it does keep me extraordinarily busy because I have to make sure that I have those projects now because my company isn't feeding them to me. Look at this. I keep interrupting myself, but look at this. This is the new Wayne Goss holiday brush. They haven't really showed it. I think they might have given I just opened this yesterday. I was like, what in the heck is this? It's fluffy madness. It kind of looks like if you stuck your finger in an electrical socket. I'm thinking this is for powder. That's what I'm going to use it for because I haven't used it yet. And then look, this is his new, the airbrush, but in the rose gold one. I love this brush too. Typically use powder that much. I do really like this Ket one because it's not really thick, and I do find that this foundation, it needs to be set on me or I can look like a kind of a mess after a little bit. The projects I've been working on are in the hair and nail industry still, and I do have some makeup projects in the works that may or may not see the light of day because they're new brands. I do want you to know that if I ever work with a certain brand on a project, I will always reveal that to you. if I'm doing a review on another product, like say La Mer hired me to work on this and they made this, I would not review this without letting you know that I have a relationship with them because of this, because like it or not, I do feel like receiving money from a brand in any way, shape, or form for any project is going to influence how you discuss them in the future if you want to keep that business, you know. And I'm going to try to be as impartial as I can always with everything. I may just not review anything from that brand again in the future if that's what it's about. So again, I will always disclose all of that information to you. I do sign NDAs, so it's not something that I'm at liberty to talk about while the project is going on. And you know, after it launches, we'll see how the company's like. I didn't share this earlier because I was waiting for everything to settle down and be done with. I wasn't even sure if I was going to talk about it at all. It doesn't impact my videos, so it's really no one's business. But needless to say, I haven't removed the video that was in question, nor will I. Frankly, I only bring it up because I have discussed my jobs. I have seen, you know, people tweeting at me that there's videos about something or blah, 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 you know. I do get a lot of questions about it, and I don't want to lie. I know that there are drama channels out there that really do care about, you know, exposing some messed up stuff that happens online, and they are trying to help. This is not that, though. This is my personal life. This is the way I make a living. This is not entertainment unless you hate my guts or you're I'm not a brand trying to sell you anything. I haven't screwed anybody over, so I would appreciate it if this could just be left at that. Please don't ever feel the need to troll on my behalf or be upset for me or anything like that. I'm a big girl. I'm not a victim in this. I knew full and well what I was doing going into this. I knew that there could possibly be repercussions, and I chose to do it anyway. I am well aware that some of my reviews piss off brands and people. It's the risk that I was willing to take. It actually turned out to be a blessing, though, because it gave me the kick in the butt I needed to get going on my own projects. And who knows how long I would have procrastinated that. You know, I typically can be really loyal. I'll stay somewhere until I completely want to rip my hair out. And that's almost like doing a disservice to myself. It actually very much is. Gotta love when your memory card runs out. So what I just did that you missed is I don't typically bake, but I'm going to use some shadows that could potentially have some fallout. So I took a powder that has a little more slip to it, which is this Derma Blend, and I just put it like this in a like little triangle shape under my eye. Not really heavy at all, just in case something falls, I can brush it away without messing up my entire face of makeup. I'll come back and do my highlighter after. I'm going to take a little makeup brush that's clean that I use just for this, and I'm going to clean off my piercings. I think nose piercings are one of my favorite because you can so easily take them in and out. I mean, you know, if you just got your nose pierced and you have to go to work, you do have to let it heal for about 4 to 6 months. But since I've had, I don't know, like 20 years or something like that, and I like it that I can just take them in and out as I please, so it's not permanent for me. So I ordered the new Milk Cosmetics stack on the purple one. I forgot what the heck it's called, but I also ordered their new Pro palettes. Basically, it's just these little cutouts, and then it's a really strong magnet, and then you can put your stacks in here, or you can build your own. It has this little piece of foam in between, and then you can fit 16 shades. So like this is the top and the bottom, and then that foam goes in the middle. I really do love Melt eyeshadows, but I realize I don't reach for them as often because I think those stacks are kind of a pain in the ass, and I forget about them. It is very unique packaging. It's just not very practical to me. So I think I'm going to use this purple row right here. Recently picked up a new color switch. This one is purple compared to my other one. I realize it's probably like a 25-cent component, like little insulation or hair donut that I could get and make it, but I'm not crafty. I'm lazy when it comes to that stuff, so I would much rather just buy one. I keep one now on my swatch station for when I swatch, and then one in my vanity so I don't have to constantly be moving them. All the shadows I'm going to be using are Melt, so I'll just leave the name in the screen here because it's going to be from a couple different stacks. So I hope you guys are enjoying your holidays, whatever you may celebrate. This is a big holiday season, I think, for most around the world. I love Christmas time. It's my favorite time of the year. You'd never guess it because I look like the Grinch. Maybe sometimes, but just know I'm smiling on the inside like a winner. It does give me kind of like anxiety a little bit, and it does also stress me out because, you know, again, it's that year-end time that you're hitting, and all the family activities and the deadlines, and again, I love it, but it's also somewhat stressful. So sometimes I get kind of like in the holiday blues. It kind of bums me out, and then I start thinking about, you know, other people's quality of life too, especially around this time of year, and it can feel kind of sad. So, you know, I have to make a conscientious effort to focus on good things this time of year, or I can get really overwhelmed with some of it. You know, I'm really not big on gifts. I've never been, and I'm not quite sure why that is, but I was that kid too that my parents had to wake me up. They had to come in the room and wake me up for me to go open presents. I've always just had a hard time accepting gifts from people too. I'm sure it's some like deep-seated issue about me having poor self-esteem or something, that I don't think I'm worthy, who knows. But I don't know, I just don't like taking gifts from people. In turn, my boyfriend and I aren't big on gifts at all. We do more like experiences instead of things, because when I look back when I was a kid, the memories that I remember the most, more so than, you know, what the toy of the year was, because when I was little, we really didn't have much money. I remember driving around and looking at Christmas lights, or, you know, my mom sitting on the couch playing the Carpenter's Christmas album with her little, she had this blue, it was like a tea cookie tin or something, I think, or like sugar cookies, and all our ornaments used to be in there, and she'd hand them to my sister and I while we would decorate the tree. My dad would be there. He was the one that always put the star on top. Those are the things I remember. And sometimes now I almost feel like as a society that we're even teaching like children and these younger generations to live outside their means. And when I say that, what I mean is, you know, we all have budgets. I mean, most people do, of what we can buy and what we can't, and what kind of wants we can buy. I'm not even talking about needs. I'm talking about wants. Like, no one needs makeup. We want makeup. Need is food, shelter, air, and water to live. I almost feel like we're training these generations coming up, and it's been an ongoing thing. I mean, capitalism at its finest, to live outside their means. And what the problem with that is, you know, when we wait for these like major sales to go on, you know, Black Friday, which I will never participate in. I had to work Black Friday for years, and I always wanted to be home with my family during that time, and so I just don't contribute to that. And I do understand, I've posted this on Instagram, I understand that families do it so they can give their kids sometimes a Christmas that they might not otherwise be able to have. But again, I think it loops back to that idea of teaching people to live outside their means, and then constantly then those kids grow up and think going into debt for materialistic items is a good idea. And then again, you know, clearly I don't have kids, so feel free to shove it up my butthole. I do work with kids, though. Basically, everyone's free to do whatever they want and choose and whatever they think is best. I just always hope people realize not to put too much pressure on themselves, because, I mean, I'm sure that can be very stressful. You know, you want to get your kid exactly what they want, or so they don't feel left out at school, or other things like that. It can be a lot of pressure, I'm sure. This time of year is very stressful for some families. Try to always remember, no matter what you can buy your children or family or anybody materialistically, deep down, they just really want time with you. You know, I also wasn't feeling too compelled to come online because there's been so much negativity, and I don't mean towards me. I mean, everybody online gets negativity. It's not even that. It's just reading like through Twitter or, you know, videos or whatever you may see. Because while I haven't been on social media, I certainly do lurk it from my, you know, the comfort of my bed. I haven't, you know, I wasn't on Instagram or Twitter really that much, but I was on YouTube a lot. What I see everybody talking about is the Kylie Jenner makeup brushes. Now, I don't like her and I don't dislike her. I'm really indifferent to them. I mean, you have to be able to have some kind of emotion for someone to even hate them, right? So if you don't care about them, you're pretty indifferent, which is exactly what I am. They don't have any effect on my life, and I don't wish ill will for anybody. No, nobody. Even people I can't stand. Notice that there's like this huge trend. What social media can do is get people to like browbeat brands to death into doing exactly what they want. And I understand you're like paying customers, right? The latest thing though is with these Kylie Jenner makeup brushes that are $360 for the kit. People are freaking out. The fact of the matter is she doesn't need competitive pricing because it's her name that's selling the product. You know, I see some of you guys tweeting at them like, you should lower your prices. It's like, why? There's a saying, charge what the market will bear. And the fact of the matter is there are people that will pay those prices. Some of it might just be morbid curiosity to see what they're like, or just to say that you have them. But like it or not, what she's doing is getting everybody to talk about it. Like everybody, it's all over social media. People are talking about it. So her name and her brand is constantly in your mind. No, if you price too low, the single price may be able to capture an entire market. However, you'll be missing out on profits from those customers that were willing to pay more. And if you price too high, you'll be able to capture the profit from those who are willing to pay more, but then you'll be missing out on the profitable business at the lower end. Typically, any business, because again, it's not a charity, they're in business to make money, they're going to pick the price that maximizes profit for them. She was smart. She would have price segmentation where she has, that whole row of brushes and then maybe little smaller kits. I did see, though, that she was offering individual brushes and then the entire kit. I guess I would get the outrage if this was like her first makeup release maybe and people were expecting more. But, we know what it's been going on. Have you seen all those abysmal palette reviews for some of the palettes that sucked, and then there were some people said were decent, and it's like, this is not a surprise to me. I don't know why anybody is surprised at this. I mean, her products before we had talked about were overpriced for what they were because I could find something else for less. I need a little firmer of a brush. There's not a gun to your head. Your mere survival doesn't depend on buying these stupid brushes. So, if you don't like them, don't buy them. Problem solved. I'm a problem solver sometimes. She'll just have to log online and see people talking. You guys are all advertising her products for her. I mean, there's a market for everything at every price. You can go online and buy used underwear. I mean, granted, those are for perverts. But literally, you can buy anything. Just look at people buying all this merch. I hate that word. I freaking hate this word. I hate all these abbreviations and all this new lingo. I'm sure every generation as they get older does, but I'm just like, is that a real word? What are you saying? Use your words. Merchandise. There are wonderful, lovely, loving people. The people, it gives me faith in the online community when people think that the internet is so negative. It's like, just take a look at, all these people that love these creators so much, they're buying their merchandise. And I'm totally busting balls, but I do think it's funny. Some of my really good friends and people I like and know have merchandise. I do feel like it's akin, though, to like a Tweety Bird tattoo. And I think that is self-explanatory. And I'm sorry if you have a Tweety Bird tattoo. Now, I was joking around when I was in Arizona. I was waiting for Keegan's niece to get home from work, and we were going to go buy her some foundation and some makeup. And while I was sitting there with my iPad, I just was messing around, and I made up a shirt that said, "No one wants your merch, Pam." And I just posted that. People were like, I would wear this. So if there's any interest in that, I would actually, we should like vote on a charity that we all like or something. And maybe I could see if I could work that out with the company that they could make some of my sarcastic sayings into t-shirts and or some kind of cute little like jammies or something to wear to bed. And all of the money would go to a charity or something. We can see something like that. Again, and I am joking around because I know that there are some that do go to charity and good causes. I'm just kidding. I feel like the world is so not fun anymore. We can't say anything. I'm not talking about like super inappropriate jokes, but I can't even be sarcastic anymore with someone like crying, think I like punched their great ancestors in the face or something. Whew, take it easy, fella. Love these eSIM brushes. So this is the eSIM 33. I'm just going to pick that up. Again, I think the internet is cool. It shows like the power that we can have and, spreading your message a lot farther than it used to be able to go. But I also think like everyone just needs to woo-saw, like calm down a little bit. It's not the end of the world. And I'm all for calling out crap when it is being like really nasty to other people, and I don't like that stuff. I will always say something, and I understand, but this whole idea of everyone's like, you guys know I'm going to say it because I'm real. I'm real. You guys know I keep it real. I'm like, who says that all the time? I don't understand. It's like normally That's the opposite. Like, whoever's saying that all the time is the opposite of that, because why would it even dawn on you to say that all the time? I don't know. I'm sure it's because, you know, you get browbeat enough online that you want to try to explain yourself all the time, because there are always those people that will accuse you of lying or whatever it may be. But I'm just like, give it a rest. When people say like, oh, when I give even like a bad review, they say, oh, I think you're being a hater and lying. I'm like, you're right. It's excellent. Buy 9. I hope you enjoy them. I mean, really, it has no effect on my life. And again, everyone's opinions always vary. They change based on preference, skin type, expectations. I do notice though, like while I was gone, after I got a couple texts and emails, I logged onto my Instagram and I saw so many of you were concerned that I was gone. I actually felt terrible that I hadn't been checking that to reply. I'm so sorry. It's so nice. So it's such an odd feeling having so many people, you know, at once care about you. I mean, in a capacity anyway, because I mean, it's not like they're local or know me or personally, but I had a very small family. My sister and I had second cousins growing up, but Elise and I were the only kids in our family. And my mom's side of the family had issues, you know, if you watch that video with my mom. So they weren't people that were in my life very regularly or at all, really. My grandma, a little bit here or there. I mean, hardly at all, though, on her side. And then on my dad's side, or the man I call my father, who is my dad, on his side, we really only had my meme, which was his mother, that was active in our lives. And that was pretty much it. So I'm not used to having like this huge circle of people. You know, I have a good set of friends, but I'm not used to having like thousands of people be like, hey, where are you? Hey, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, happy holidays, whatever it may be. And that's such like an amazing feeling. It's just awesome, and I do thank you guys for that. And then it also makes me think though, can you imagine the people that like make stupid mistakes or do stupid things and then they get everybody kind of attacking them? Because if that feeling feels so overwhelmingly positive, I can only assume what it's like when people get hate or anything like that online. And I'm not saying it was deserved or not deserved. I'm just saying it must be a very overwhelming feeling. I totally forgot to talk about any of this stuff too. So this was like forever ago. I've got to look up the date because I had a meetup in the park. I had posted it on my Instagram because my Instagram I keep private. I approve everybody, but if you're a skid mark, I kick you out because I just don't have the time to read that nonsense. And I don't want people fighting on my page. I want people to be able to come there and talk about makeup or read my funny memes or anything like that. But I did have a meetup at Golden Gate Park, and a bunch of you guys came out. I did it on Saturday and Sunday, and I bought a bunch of food, and then you guys brought some snacks, and we all just sat around and talked about makeup and life and snacked. I insert a couple of the pictures in here for the ones that you guys tagged me in. So thank you for coming out. I also had a meetup with Vamp Stamp. They invited me to come down to Bloomingdale's with them for an event. So I went down there when Jen from Jen Loves Reviews was up here, and yay or nay Nicole. I'll have both of their channels linked below. Awesome ladies. You should go watch them. They came out too because it was the day that Jen and I filmed, and it was awesome. We got to meet some of you guys. You guys were all amazing. Any of the pictures that I was tagged into, I will post here. I'm not really good at taking pictures when I'm out and about, unless it's like pictures of my food. Because I always just try to stay present and not on my phone all the time, because that is one of those things. It's such a weird phenomenon to me when I go to some of these events. And granted, it's because it's social media. Everybody is like in groups of 3, like, look, we're on Snapchat, we're taking pictures of all of this. It's like, no real conversations going on. And again, I know that's like a generational thing now and social media being so prevalent, but I try not to do that. So I oftentimes end up forgetting about all the pictures that I wanted to take. So wonderful meeting all you guys. You guys are awesome. Like, I really do. I know so many people say this, but I really do feel like we have such a good group here. Also because, you know, you guys that are here, you just let me be myself. You know, I've said it a million times. I often look like I have the personality of a wet dish rag when I'm on camera. It's not something that comes very naturally to me. So when there are those kids, you know, when you were growing up, a lot of us, if you were like 80s babies, there was that little like red radio with the handle, and it had that microphone, and you could sing into it, like a little baby karaoke machine. I hated that. Like, granted, I have the voice of a pterodactyl, but I never liked hearing my voice on that. And even as I got older, you know, when I used to do ballet, I remember my parents like, look up, look at us, because I'd always kind of look at the ground. Just because I didn't like the spotlight or like lights in my face and looking out into like a giant audience and like kind of performing, I guess is the way I would look at it. Because now I get up and I give sales meetings in front of hundreds of people, and that's okay because I'm talking about something or educating, but I don't know what it is. I mean, I really don't need an excuse for it because we are how we are. I don't know why we always have to make excuses, but I don't know. It's awkward to me, and I'm sitting in a room by myself, and there's this little circle right here, and I'm talking to it. So I tend to not be super animated. And again, a lot of the information I'm sitting down, all of it is pre-prepared. So it's not like anything's a shock to me. Maybe if I did more like first impressions and stuff, but I'm also 36 years old. I'm relatively calm. So again, I just appreciate you guys that get me. I remember in the beginning when I first had my channel, it was like constant uphill. Like, my reviews were negative. I'm negative. I don't ever like anything. I'm so monotone, blah, 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 you know? And I'm just like, well, I'm just going to keep doing my thing, because often if you're not like the majority of people, and I'm not saying those people aren't bad, but I mean, there seems to be, I mean, you're on YouTube, right? You're supposed to be entertaining. So many people are so animated, and I just think that, you know, there was an expectation, and when I wasn't necessarily fitting into that mold, it was an interesting start. And a lot of you guys, I mean, the ones that you've been here for a long time, you've always kind of got my shtick and understood what I'm doing. So again, I appreciate you guys. I do always want you guys to know, you know, so many times you guys will comment that you want to start a channel or do stuff. Anybody can do what we can do. Anybody can do what we can do. And I don't mean that to put down everybody else. I just mean there is a spot for everybody, whether you want to do gaming. I mean, for God's sakes, there's a lady on YouTube that eats pickles. I mean, she makes so much money for that. There is something everybody can do. You just have to commit the time to it and know that it's not going to happen overnight, and just bear with it. Always hope that you guys never feel jealous of opportunities that certain people get, because you can absolutely get them as well. It's not unique to a set group of people. And start with if you're watching this, I'm assuming you have a smartphone or a computer that probably in this day and age has a camera built into it. So you guys can all start. Everybody started somewhere. No one starts with everything. I started with my camera and my light setup because I already was making money from my job, so I was able to invest that. If this is going to be a source of income for you, I think, I mean, a good measure is to say that you're not going to make any money for like the first year. If you do, it'll be awesome, but just the way it works. And then eventually you can get the PR, and you guys can do all of that stuff. Any of you can do it. Typically, I was using the MAC 242 brushes for packing on pigments or like shimmer shadows, but I started using these the W23 and the W21 brush, and I love these for that. Again, I'll get Alphonse to talk about all of those in a video. But last night, I got to go and meet the CEO of GRWM, and her name is Nicole, and she's lovely, such a nice person. And Dakota, also from The Ordinary, such amazing women. We got to go over their line. They actually were super cool, and all the foundations they brought. I did get to play with the new watercolors. Just put it on the back of my hand because it was test packaging, so it's not like anything I could take. That one felt even lighter than the serum one. It just kind of like absorbs right into your skin, and then you're left with pigment. It's pretty cool. So I took my colors of the foundation. It's right behind me. Well, I don't know. There's either the full coverage in the serum, and then I have them in 2 shades each to see which one I will be. But they gave me all the shades, so I could swatch all the lighter shades, light to medium, and then I was going to send the deeper shades to Ripley for some swatch comparisons if that's helpful, and then give away the rest of them because I don't want to waste the product. As long as There are people that are okay with the fact that they have been swatched and opened and used, you know, it's not going to be brand new. I'll have to figure out how to do that because the shipping on that will cost more than the actual foundation is each bottle, so I'll figure out if I'm going to like group them together or make it a local thing. I don't know. I'll figure out something. And I will review that. It'll take me some time to test. Now, what palette review do you guys want to see next? You guys let me know, and the majority rules, I will do that one. I'm still waiting. I ordered those little like flip top containers so I can put all of the sunscreens in to send to Ripley. It says they tried to deliver today, but no one was home, so I should get them tomorrow, and I will get those right out to Ripley. I just need her to put it on her skin and do flashback tests, white cast, to see if there is any for my video to make sure that we got everybody covered. I love this palette. It's so darn cute. My lips are so dry. I already drank 2 chais today. I need a chai intervention. Someone help. Help me. Don't help me. I want them. I feel like I kind of lost a little bit of that red, so I'm going to pick up a little more. There we go. And I will be either up in Tahoe, or we typically hand out food, like meals. That's what we do on Christmas time, is we spend money that we would spend on gifts. And we make some meals in Tupperware and with like a little fork and knife and napkins and a little Merry Christmas note and Ziploc, and get some water bottles, and we go and hand those out to people that are on the street. We normally do that on Christmas Eve, and then we would go up to like Tahoe or something, like the day, Christmas Day or after, so we could go snowboarding. I think we might do that again, go out to Tahoe after, or otherwise we'll just be home. But I do like being in my own environment with our own tree. I love Christmas trees. I love that smell. If I could keep a tree up in my house year round and not have it be like a combustible mess, I totally would. Our space, like our living room is like a bay window, a fireplace, and we have the TV over there, and like a smaller little space before a sliding door to go out to one of our patios. And we have the tree like jammed. Of course, I love 7-foot trees, 7 foot or bigger. Keegan's always trying to get like a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree, and I have to have a tantrum. That's like one of the things I'm like, no, that's the tree I want. And then we drag it into the house. I always go to Clancy's here in the city. That's been since I moved here 6 years ago. This is our 6th year of doing it. I love that place. I have a pumpkin patch too. It's a nice place. I'm sure the trees are super overpriced. Everything is overpriced in the city. But I just love that a lot. And I like having traditions because I just like having them. So I think we'll always go there as we live here. This is an Eason brush too. These two. I love 31, 33. I'll have everything again linked below. Weird that it gets so dark. Like it's 6 o'clock right now and it's like pitch black outside. I just test that about the winter. I like it when it's like 9 o'clock out and still sunny. But I do like winter and fall clothing better. I love sweaters and boots. You know, the mayor of our city passed away last night. He was really young. He had a heart attack in his sleep. That's so sad to hear. I feel terrible for his wife and family. You know, since I've been vegetarian for a little over 2 years, I believe it is now. I believe that, anyway. I thought that the holidays would be weird eating, and if I cook, it's not. If my mom does, I never want to be that, like, pain. And I know you shouldn't think of it like that because, you know, you're part of, like, a family or a group, and everybody might have, you know, special food restrictions or dietary needs, something like that. But I don't like having people have to make like a specific meal for me or catered around me, because I figure I can always find something to eat when I'm visiting, and I don't ever want to make it like a big ordeal or make other people uncomfortable. And again, it's not, you should always get what you want. It's just my preference. So basically when we were there, they had like the traditional like turkeys and stuff and all the stuffing, and I like to make like acorn squash or like just different things, stuffed acorn squash. And so his stepdad made these stuffed mushrooms, which were so good. I ate like half the tray of those. And then I had like a gigantic plate of mashed potatoes, because mashed potatoes are one of my favorite things on earth. I'm yet to meet a potato I don't like. I like them Frenched or like mashed. I like them scalloped. I like them always. French fries, everything. Really took like a towering stack of mashed potatoes, and I felt like I was walking around with a brick in my stomach like all holiday, which mashed potatoes make me feel like I have narcolepsy as well, because as soon as I eat them, I immediately want to fall asleep. Now my pants just don't fit, but that's okay. I can shed that off in no time. My favorite brow bone highlight ever is Max Blanc type, so I'm going to take this and highlight my brow bone. So I have some shimmer on the inner corner. I'd prefer to keep it matte up here. Rolling Stone, can't always get what you want. But you get what you need. Is that what it is, that song? I have that stuck in my head right now. I think it's because I was talking about the work situation. I'm feeling lazy and don't feel like putting on lashes right now. I only mean lazy because I very rarely don't wear lashes. Not if you don't wear them, you're lazy. It's sad that you even have to say that, but sometimes people are like, I feel personally attacked by every single thing you say. Whew. I'm going to highlight with this Laura Geller. This is her Peach Glow. So this was a product at first I didn't like. I found that it kind of had like a tough top layer. Tough top layer. Easy for me to say. Gotta love the speech impediment these give me sometimes. I don't find I get a really long lasting power on this. I feel like it fades relatively quickly, but I do love like peachy pink highlights, and I do like this, but I've used it a little more. So I think I'm going to do a product roundup video next, and then I will do whatever palette review that you guys want next. I mean, out of the ones I have anyway. I was going to do the Natasha Denona Sunset palette review next and compare it to the ColourPop palette that's similar, but I don't know if that's old news now or what. If you guys want me to do that, I'll do that one next, because I have all the swatches and everything done. So I hope if any of you are music lovers that you'll come down and keep me company, because Keegan will be busy running around, and I'll just be hanging out there helping where I can. Let me just make sure I touch up my highlight there. I mean, it does look really pretty, but I feel like it'll only last on me like an hour. I don't know. So I hope you guys enjoyed this random ramble of a get ready with me. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, please leave them down below. I am back now and free again until January, so I am going to be making some new content for you guys, so just let me know what you're interested in. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I will see you next time.